Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Gene Fetty with the Automotive Appearance Institute back at you with another episode of our All Access podcast. This is number 18. Today, we have Adrienne Farrow. So Adrienne Farrow is the go-to for all things Google tools. Her mission is to help entrepreneurs unlock the potential of Google tools, both to increase their productivity and create profitable digital products. Solopreneurs and entrepreneurs with small teams come to Adrienne to get help. Come to Adrienne to help them get their Google Workspace organized, set up systems, and create amazing digital products for their businesses. Adrienne is the founder of the Go-To suite of products, the place to go for increasing your productivity and saving time using Google tools. Sorry, I'm not a good script reader. So Adrienne,
No worries.
Adrienne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So give us a little background on you. Who obviously we know who you are. You're Adrienne, and we've got a little bit of what you do with Google. But let's dive into that a little bit. How'd you get started there?
Yeah.
What led you to here?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I was a teacher for 10 years, and I literally taught like almost anything you could think of well, maybe not everything, but a lot of different things in the education world, all the way from kindergarten up through high school special education. But what kind of ran through my career was I was always introducing new technology. And when I was a teacher was when Google Classroom came out. A lot of the Google tools really started to make a difference in the classroom. And so I started training the teachers I worked with, etc., on Google. And then what I call the great digitization of 2020 happened,
Yeah,
which is COVID.
right.
And so not only did I transition into online teaching, but I also started my virtual assistant career where I started helping those who are creating curriculum online to digitize using Google tools to help them create, things they were using in the classroom, but put them online for students to use. And then one thing kind of led to another, and I started training adults who worked in the online entrepreneurial space just how to maximize Google tools for their business because it is something most online entrepreneurs use because it's either free or really reduced cost. But a lot of times we don't know the best ways to utilize it for our business or how to create great systems, etc. And so I just kind of fell into this niche just kind of over time. And I do have a background in being a Google trainer. So I am a certified Google
Oh,
trainer.
cool.
So I do bring that knowledge and like best practices from Google into the mix. And I actually got to go to the Google headquarters in Sunnyvale
Oh, wow.
in October of 2023. They invited us trainers to go. So that was a really cool experience to actually go to the place where Google is.
Where Google
So
Googles.
that's Yes, exactly. So that's me. I'm just really passionate about using these tools to really help make a difference in our business.
That's perfect. So just for the audience, right? In case they're not familiar with what Google tools are, instead of just the broad, the broad term Google tools, what falls into there? Like, what are Google's tools that we can use?
So most people are familiar with if you sign up for a free Google account, you get your Gmail, which is what a lot of people use. So that would be your email system. And then when you sign up for a Google account, you get all these different tools for that are under the Google umbrella that you may not even know you have access to. One of being Google Drive, which is your file storage, Google Calendar, which is your calendar booking system, or calendar management. And then we get into Google Docs for word processing, Google Sheets, which is like Excel, spreadsheets, slides, forms. But then there's also some little unknown ones like Google Keep, which is a really cool note taking app
Huh.
that looks like little post-it notes.
See, I've never heard of that one. I'm learning stuff
Yeah,
already.
there you go. Google Tasks, which is a to-do list that is integrated in with Calendar. And then, of course, Google is unleashing their AI. And so we have Google Gemini, and that is available in a variety of different aspects in regards to what level account you have. And there's Google Meet, which is like Zoom. It's a video conferencing platform. And there's also Google Chat, where you can do like messaging back and forth. And so most of this you can do on a free plan. However, if you're a business owner, I highly advocate for paying for the business plan, which is the Google Workspace. So if you ever heard the term workspace, that's just the business plan for Google. And that gets you an email address that's at your domain.com.
That was one of the places we on our sort of discovery call we connected. So I've been a
Mm-hmm.
big proponent of that forever. Of like, it drives me crazy when you see a business, like a real business, a brick and mortar business, and it's like, I got my free email at gmail.com. Like, what? It takes away so much credibility when for, no, we have a team, so my bill's a little bigger, but when it was just me, like a Google Workspace account is cheap.
Yeah.
Like single digit dollars per month for
It's
an
six
email account.
dollars a month if you pay annually, or
Yeah,
$7.20
it's cheap.
if you, yeah, very cheap, very cheap. And it's your digital calling card, your business card. Anytime you email, it's your business. It's a professionalism aspect to it.
Exactly. There's
So
no doubt to that. So it is. So as a like a child of the '70s and grew up and like there's a few years just behind me that are super into tech. Like the Google Workspace or the Google tools are like the whole Microsoft suite, the whole Office suite, but for free or for
mhm,
super cheap if you're a business, right? Like, is that a good way
100%.
to
Yep.
describe that?
Yep.
Um, so what are some of the best ways that small business in our audience is small business? A lot of them are solopreneurs. What are some of the best ways that we can start implementing Google tools to work with our everyday and simplify our lives? Like you're wearing so many
Mhm.
hats as a solopreneur. Uh, how can we use this, or how can they use this to take some of the heat off off their plate?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, one of the things that I think that makes Google stand out and stands out from like Microsoft tools, etc., is the collaboration aspect of it. It's super easy to share files. It's super easy to collaborate with other business owners or with your team or whoever on Google Docs or slides or sheets. It's just a simple button to like share a file, and it's so much easier than Microsoft Word. And so I think that is one thing that just makes it stand apart, because chances are you've been in a situation where you're like, hey, someone's like, I'm going to send you a Google Doc. And then you get that email and it's sent to you and you can open it up. And it's always mind boggling to me when I can collaborate with someone on a Google Doc and they're like in another country or another state, and you're working on it in real time. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is
So guys,
this is so cool.
if you haven't seen that, it is so cool. I remember the first time we did it. It was actually me and Dave Streen and Kip Brooks. We were putting a seminar together, and we were working inside of a Google Doc. And I didn't. One of them sent it over, and they're like, "Hey, we'll collaborate." And you could see who was editing what changes
Hmm.
they made, all in real time in the document. And you would see
Hmm.
like Dave is typing, and then Dave's typing out a. It was super cool. Yes, the collaboration
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
And that's why I think that a lot of business owners end up using Google over Microsoft, is just that collaboration aspect. I think the foundation tools, I call it the Google trifecta, but Gmail, Drive, and Calendar are solopreneurs or business owners. Like, they're just the foundation of Google tools. You have to have a really good email system, because chances are you're in your email multiple times a day. Like, that's how online business owners work. And Gmail just makes it so easy to do your email. And there's some little tips and tricks that you can use to just really help yourself stay organized. You can star emails that you need to respond to. There's a separate star section, and that's a really great way of like just knowing like, hey, anything that I star are things that I need to go and take care of. You can filter emails and label emails, and you can really organize your Gmail inbox so it doesn't overwhelm you whenever you get in there. So Gmail is one to pay attention to, but then Drive is where all of your files live. So anytime you start a Google Doc or a slide or a sheet, form, whatnot, it's going to go into your Google Drive. And anytime you upload a PDF or put any images or whatnot, you can really, it's going to store everything for you. And that's why I love the workspace, because you can get like double, if not like 3 to 4 times the amount of storage by just paying that little bit extra than you're going to get with the free version. But I always say give your drive some love, find a system that works for you because you don't want to spend more time looking for files in your Google Drive than you're working on your business because that's just wasting time. That's just taking time away from your business when you could really just be working on other things.
So, what would be your number one tip to organize Google Drive? Dylan, who's normally on the mic in these podcasts, I'm talking to you. She's hiding in her computer. So, what would be your number one go to for organizing Google Drive inside of your business?
Well, chances are you don't have a blank Google Drive. Chances are you have something that is full of files because you've used it for quite a bit of time. So one of the things that I say is the first thing to do is create an archive folder. So name it archive and then today's date and literally throw your entire Google Drive into that one folder. It's not going to change anything. The links are all going to stay the same. You can still search for it. You can still find it, but it's kind of like clearing out a room and just putting everything in another room or putting everything in a closet. You want to make a blank slate so you can kind of start over again and create a folder system that works for you. And you want to think about how you access information. So do you access information on like a project-based system? Like you think in projects. So you have this project, this project, this project. Or do you think in categories? So like social media or, finances, etc. Or are you a combination of the two and you need some projects and you need some categories? But throwing everything into an archive folder and then starting your folder system really allows you to almost start from scratch, even if you have a lot of things in there. So that's my number one trick. I do in some of the programs and things like that I offer, I get into some more of those nitty gritties of like, how do you create those folder structures? What's some good ideas and things like that? But the archive trick really helps to get started.
Adrienne, I'll tell you that's genius because I go into my drive. I think you've been snooping on my computer, or at least you logged into my Google because, yes, you described that to a T. And I go in and I'm like, all right, we got to get this thing under wraps. And then I'm like, no, it's so much. I don't even know what to do. That's
it's
genius to
right?
just be like archive, right? January, whatever, 7th, 2025. Mm-hmm. And put it all in there. That's awesome. That is guys, if you don't take that tip and put it into play, and I don't know what to tell you. You're listening to the wrong show. That's mine.
And chances are most of that you're not going to want to look at anyway. Like most of that's probably old or outdated or things you might want to keep, but you don't need to see on a regular basis.
Right.
And so then you can just kind of start fresh and new, and then it feels light and airy. It feels like you can tackle it and move on versus trying to spend hours just organizing a mess that you have.
So I told you I was going to be selfish in this podcast because it's my show. So along those lines, so personally here, right, we have workspace. I also have iCloud, right, because I have, I get a little thumbs up emoji thing to pop up on my screen. That's weird. Anyways, we have Google Workspace. I have iCloud because I'm an Apple Mac guy. Mm-hmm. And I have Dropbox because I used Dropbox back in the day before workplace or workspace became a real thing. I feel like we're sort of spread out across all over the place. Do you have any tips for bringing, like, call it Dropbox and maybe iCloud into Google Drive to further simplify life?
Yeah. So I always say just try and pick one, maybe two. Like I'm an iCloud person too, just because I work on all Macs. And so like, it's really easy to sync over my, my pictures and things like that. Most of my documents are on Google, but there's a lot that I have on iCloud too. My two tips is like choose which one is going to be your primary one and really separate personal from business. Business should not have any of your personal stuff in it, and really personal shouldn't have any of your business. So if iCloud's your personal and Google's your business, like great, that can work really well. Dropbox, you could just download everything as onto your desktop and then upload it into Google Drive. There's not really a seamless way to migrate. I wish that there was, but I would just say like take everything out and then put it in. There is something called Drive for Desktop that you can get, and that basically downloads access to Google Drive onto your desktop computer, so either for a Mac or for a PC. And you can either have one-way sync or two-way sync, meaning I do one-way sync so I can see what's on my Google Drive on my desktop, so I can always access through Finder in Mac
Oh,
my
nice.
Google Drive.
Okay.
And so I can open up files or I can like put things in my Google Drive. But you can also do two-way sync, so it can sync and bring things from your computer into your Google Drive if that's something that works well for you.
Oh, nice.
So there are some tools that can really help. But yeah, try my biggest advice is try to stick to one, maybe two, just so you're not overwhelmed with like where is everything? Because then that's the big question is like
And
what program did I put it in?
and that's I'm sure that's a lot of people's problem, but that's ours too. It's like, is it in Dropbox? Is it in your Dropbox or is it my Dropbox? Is it in Google Drive or like what? Where? I don't know. And then Dylan's getting a text at 10 o'clock at night and I got to wake her up and I'm like, where's this logo? So it's in my Dropbox. Well, not the company Dropbox.
So Jean, have you heard of shared drives in Google Drives?
No. Enlighten me.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it is a business feature. So it is in Workspace.
Yep.
So in any of the workspace space plans. But basically, you have your own personal My Drive. So, your email address has one. But if you have team members and you want to easily share documents, so like with Dylan or other team members, you can set up a shared drive that you all have access to. And so you can put all of your files into that shared drive, and then it makes it really easy to say, okay, that there's a shared drive for this project or a shared drive for marketing or a shared drive for finances, and anything you need to share among your team can go into that one file. And it's really important because in Google, ownership is anything that whoever originates a file is the owner of that file. And so if you have like a virtual assistant who maybe is a temporary employee or someone who, could potentially leave in a couple months, you want to make sure you have ownership over any of their files, because if they were to leave and close down your Google account, their Google account, you could lose things that belong to your business, but that was originated by that virtual assistant. And so shared drives is a really smart and easy way to look at ownership, especially when you're in a business sense of your files, etc.
That is super cool because we've run into that, not losing that, but we've had turnover, right? So I'm certain that I still am paying for a couple of accounts that I don't need to be paying for because I didn't want to lose what was in their drive. And then inevitably, every time we create something, right, like I own it or Dylan owns it or Melissa or Mac or whoever, and then they're like, I shared it with you, but then they give you permission. I guess that's a question. Is there a setting you can go in and by default give permission to everybody in the organization when something's created?
Not really.
Or I
actually,
guess
not by
would shared drive take care of that?
shared drives would take care of that, meaning that so if you started a Google Doc, it's going to automatically go to your My Drive. It's going to start in My Drive, and you're going to have to give that doc a home. So whether that home is in another file in your own My Drive or it's in a shared drive, if you put it in that shared drive, whoever has access to that shared drive will now be a co-owner of that file. And so
By default that
by
happens.
default,
Oh,
by
great.
default. So just by putting it into that shared drive, and whoever originates the shared drive, so say you originate the shared drive, you can choose who has access to that shared drive. So it doesn't have to be everyone in your organization. You could just have one shared drive that's between you and Dylan, and those are the only two, people that have access to it.
Can you
could have
Can you multiple shared drives?
you can have multiple shared drives.
Great.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So yep. And then you can also choose the level of access someone has to a shared drive too. So you could have someone just have viewing access to the shared drive. They're not allowed to take things out. They're not allowed to add things in. They can only look at everything. You could have someone have access to add things in and edit, but they can't delete and they can't move anything out. So you can really customize the shared drive to give the level of access needed per employee or per person. And you can also add external users in too. It doesn't just have to be within your own organization. So you can have your own Gmail address be an access in there or something like that. So shared drives are a really great way just to make sure you own or you know who owns the files, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that makes, as a, not lifetime, but as a long time Google Workspace user who has struggled through a lot of this, this is great information, like really great information.
Yeah.
There's so
Awesome.
many niches out there in the
Yeah.
world today. Like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So how does somebody get trained on all of this? Like, what does it look like to learn? Do you have resources? Does Google have resources? Where do you go to get better with this?
So Google does have resources, but in my humble opinion, they are very much lacking. They
Shocker.
are very dry. There are not really like any like courses or things like that that you could go through to like learn Google Docs or learn that type of stuff. And so that's really why I got into this niche is because I wanted to make Google accessible but also like I just wanted to simplify it and make it really understandable so you don't have to go searching for everything. So, some of the resources that I offer, I do have some free resources like my 5 simple hacks to organize your Google Drive. And I have a YouTube channel with some tutorials that's making a comeback in 2025 because I took a little hiatus from it. But I also have a membership called the Go To Community, which has a weekly group coaching session where we dive deeper into Google tools. And that's where I can, demo things like shared drives. I'd pull up shared drives and I'd demo it and I'd show
Hmm.
how you can move things in and out and whatnot. And then community members can ask questions, and there's lots of resources in there. And then I do workshops monthly, bi-monthly on specific Google topics, etc. And then I do offer one-on-one services. So if you're like, hey, I need you to come look at my Google Drive, I need you to look at my Gmail, I need you to tell me what to do so that I can get this organized, like we can book a one-on-one session and I can help out with that. And then I can actually do the work for you so that you don't even have to do it. And I also do a lot of migration. So like I migrate people from Microsoft to Google or help consolidate accounts if you have multiple Google accounts, or like in your situation, you're trying to make sure like you have some accounts you're paying for because people left and you need those files moved over. Like I help with a lot of those different nuance things that maybe are specific to people's own situations.
So you really are the go-to for all things Google tools. I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
So like, let's say a listener was like, you know what, I'm tired of having my, like, I'm your dent guy at gmail.com as my email. And they're like, you know what, I'm going to bite the bullet and set it up. Is that something you can help people work through?
Yep, definitely. Definitely. Some people can do it really easy on their own. They feel really confident with it. Other people, book a call with me and we get that done on the call. You just need to make sure that you own your domain name. So you have whatever your domain name, so at, whatever. Usually it's whatever your website is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually am a Google referral partner. So I can provide 10% discounts off of a year on either the first plan or the second plan, the business starter or the business standard plan.
Oh, that's
If you
great.
yeah, if you decide to have me help you set it up, I can definitely hook you up with a code.
So, guys, we will have links for everything from Adrienne in the show notes and probably in the post underneath the episode on the website. So, go search that out. And if you can't find it, you can always reach us at our email or through social. You guys know how to get a hold of us there. This is fantastic. Like
Awesome.
you've got my head spinning with what we can do here. Um, let's talk about Google Calendar for a minute,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
We're all, so we're in
Yeah.
the service industry, so we're constantly scheduling appointments. How about your best Google Calendar tip?
Tips. Well, two things. One is if you are needing to sync your like personal and business, meaning like depends on your niche. If you're like for me, if I'm booking one-on-one calls, I want to make sure that my calendar also reads like the doctor's appointments I have for my kids because I want to make sure I don't double book myself.
Yep.
So I advocate for a one calendar to rule them all system, meaning that you color code your calendar on Google, which you can do, so that you can see clearly what's business, what's personal, and that you're able to have whatever your calendar reader is look and see through your calendar to find all of those blank spots, those blank holes. So that's one of my tips and tricks that I suggest. Also, Google Calendar has their own appointment scheduler. So if that is something you want to ditch a tool so that you're not spending money on
So
a
is that
tool,
so that's not like a Calendly?
it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. Man, I'm learning all
Yes.
kinds of stuff, Adrienne.
It is. It is. It was relatively new in 2024. I want to say it came out like maybe mid-year, give or take. In my opinion, and also working with a lot of others, you either love it or you don't. Some people do stick with Calendly or like TidyCal, another one. Others do jump into Google Calendar. The reason why I put that caveat in is because your scheduler will go on top of your calendar in Google, and so it can appear a lot visually cluttered to some people. And so some people don't like the layering of how that looks. But if it doesn't bother you, it's really super simple and easy to put together. It's just like Calendly. You just go on, you put in your availability. It shows visually on your calendar the chunks that you'd have available. It will easily read your Google Calendar. You can integrate Stripe with it, so you can charge for appointments
Oh,
with it.
nice.
And then you get a booking page that you can either put a button on your website or you can embed it in your website. And just like Calendly or another calendar service, people will go there and they'll click and they'll find what your availability is, and then they'll book right through with you. So it's really simple and seamless. The only caveat is it does kind of become a little bit visually cluttered on your own Google Calendar. So something just to know that it exists.
That's pretty cool. So we could use that. So in our repair business side of things, if a hailstorm comes through, we could be completely inundated with requests for scheduling an assessment of their damage. So we could say, hey, we're going to open up 3 hours a day every day, and that's when we look at the cars. And when somebody comes in, instead of trying to fight through it, hey, go to our book an assessment page, and they could just do it, and then when they pick the time, it's blocked out and it's theirs, right? Is that? Oh, that is super cool.
100%, 100%. And because it'll ask you what Google Calendar or calendars you want it to read, so then it'll just not only look at that block of time, but it'll also look at your Google Calendar and see if there's any conflicts there as well.
Oh, nice.
Too.
Oh, that is incredible. That's
So it's a
super
big
cool.
cost that you can cut.
Yeah, so it's included in your subscription, right? Or I
Yep,
guess
it's
included
included. Yep.
for free if you have the free version. But
Yep. No, on the free version, it's not. It's either you get one or not included at all. I can't remember.
okay.
I think that they've changed it, but if you're on the paid version, you do get. I always recommend the middle tier, the business standard tier, because that's where you can get the majority of all of the features. There's some that they're starting to move into the lower tier, but the most of them are that one or above.
Okay.
But you can get unlimited Google Calendar. To my knowledge, there's not a limit
yeah,
of different
we won't
appointments.
hold you to that. Nobody's going to send you an email and be like, Adrienne, I went, and it costs extra. So you'll be okay.
I can't. Yes, but no. I mean, like you can do multiple appointment scheduling on the Google Workspace.
Oh, that
plans,
is
the business
super cool.
ones.
That is
Yep.
that is really cool.
And did you know you can sign contracts now on Google Docs?
All right, you know what? We're just going to end here because you're giving too much knowledge on my free podcast. So tell me more, Adrienne.
Well, this again is you would create a document in Google Docs, and then there is an e-signature aspect as one of the drop-down menus, and then it will put in the boxes for different amount of sender. I think it's up to 10 signatures, and then you can also do initials and date. There's not a ton of fields, but there's enough for the basics. And then what you do is you email it through the system to whoever you need their signature from. It will prompt them for their signature, prompt you for your signature, and then send you both a PDF with all of the time stamping and everything. So it follows the e-signature laws in the United States to be a valid signature. So you don't have to use something like DocuSign or, one of the other platforms. You can actually do that within Google Docs now. And that is as of last summer.
Wow. So back to the repair business side of things. If you're going to bring your car in for repair, we need a signed authorization to repair with acknowledgments on X, Y, and Z. So we can, right from our Google Workspace, create that and then just shoot it out. If they're going to drop off after hours, we're not going to see them. We can have them e-sign that all through Google
It would
Drive.
have to go via their email.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
it
right,
would-
but
yep,
an
yep.
e-sign through, wow, that is so cool. Huh.
Yep. And you'll get a little prompt that'll be like, so and so signed it. Now it's your turn to sign it. So you can countersign it. And then once all of the, all of the parties have signed it, then you each get a PDF in your email box of the signed completed document.
That is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. And I feel like, I bet we're just scratching the surface of what is inside of Google Tools for sure.
Yeah.
But those right there, I mean, you probably have given us 8 or 10 go-to tips right here. Awesome. Well, out of respect for your time, I'm not going to keep you here all afternoon.
No worries. I could talk about Google for hours. There's so many cool things.
That is really, really cool. So, again, best place to find you for your trainings. We're going to have
Go
links.
to my website. So www.adriennefarrow.com. My everything page on that website, there's a little, tab, this is everything. We'll send you to all of my paid things, send you to my YouTube channel. My freebies are on there. It's really the best place to really get to be connected with me on there. So
that's perfect. So you'll have your YouTube channel links there and everything.
Yep.
Before I let you go, on the one-on-one side of things, what do you find that normally takes to get somebody dialed in? Is this something that is one session? Is this over a few sessions? What do you normally see?
So it really depends on your own technology comfort and how much time and effort you want to put into yourself. So I have people who book one session, they get, my advice, and then I give like, hey, this is my suggestion based off of our conversation of how you should organize your Google Drive, etc. And then they're like, good, great, I got it, I'll move on. Other times I have people book multiple sessions with me, so maybe like a package of 4 or 5 sessions where then we delve into different parts because they like that one-on-one back and forth things.
Yeah.
And then I have other people who are like, hey, this is so overwhelming for me. Like, just do it for me.
Well, that was my next question. What does done for you look like? Because sometimes it's easier to figure out who instead of how to do it.
Yep.
Great book, by the way. Who, Not How, if you haven't found it.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is definitely. So, like, for example, I'm working with a client right now who is migrating from Microsoft over to Google. And so I always start off my clients with what I call a power hour. It's an hour paid session where we just delve behind the scenes and look at everything, and I can get a full picture of what's going on. And then from there, I give a quote of what it would look like to work with me. We kind of, divvy it up based off of priority and whatnot. And then I use a secure password sharing service called Keeper, and I get your passwords to your, usually it's multiple accounts.
Right.
And then I go in and behind the scenes, I just take care of things. I go, we talk maybe back and forth on Voxer, set up a call at the end to make sure everything is the way that you'd like it to be. And then we go from there.
That is super cool. That's I really hope that you guys reach out. I think, Adrienne, we're going to be having some more conversations here. And if my wife were not up in the office and we were talking about being organized, she would be beating me. Probably she would push me out of the way and you guys would talk organization. And Dylan is eye-rolling me off camera. So, yes, we're definitely going to talk. So, guys, go check out Adrienne at Adrienne Farrow. Not like it sounds like the Egyptian, but it's actually FARROW.com. And then it was your everything link. So look for everything up in the menu.
Yep, everything up at the top. So.
Good deal. Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for coming on the show today. this maybe is one of my favorite episodes I've done. And we're stepping outside of our comfort zone, and you really dropped some knowledge. So thank you so much for coming on. Any parting words?
I always say that everyone is techie. So don't let any technology fears stop you. Google is so forgiving. It is so great for beginners and it's so great for people who are advanced users. Like just get started and it will really like blow you away of what you can do.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap up on the regular camera and give you the outro and talk about Mobile Tech Expo and some new tools that came out. So stick around. The interview is over, but the show is not over. I will be right back. All right, guys. So that, I think, was a spectacular interview with Adrienne. I learned a ton. She's got my head spinning. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to reach out and set up some one-on-one sessions with her to get us dialed in. Dylan, you are off camera, sort of hanging out.
Yes.
So some pretty good organizational tips, because Dylan hasn't listened to the interview yet because we just finished it and now we're hopping on here to finish. Shared drive. So if we use a shared drive in Google Drive,
Yeah.
it can all go in there and we can like predetermine who has access to it. So no more of that like waiting to see like, hey, you shared it with me. Where is it? I don't know. I can't find it. Hey, I see it, but now I need permission. Taken care of.
Wait, I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm excited, and it was a great interview. So
It sounded great. I could only hear one end of the interview.
yeah, she was sort of, I don't want to say blowing my mind because it's just Google tools, but there's some pretty interesting stuff. And as a person who really struggles with organization, Dylan will vouch for that.
See.
And we're not going to let Melissa up there hear me say that I struggle with that. And she's not going to listen to this episode anyways because Mac's not on here. So it's all good. Anyways, update from the last show. I had that new stick light from Stucky. I did get to use it. I used it yesterday, glue pulling a crease on an Amazon van. Pretty cool stuff to see. Nice and simple. And I really liked that I took the light off of the stand or off the holder. And for cross-checking, man, you can get a really nice tight look and then like pop it back out of your way. I love the small footprint. And the cool factor is just off the charts. You didn't even get to see that yet, Dylan.
Negatory captain.
See, that's what happens when you get sick and call off of work.
Guys, this is like the second day that I've been able to like actually talk without coughing. Well, kind of. I'm doing a lot better now. Doing a lot better.
But did you die?
I did not die. DBAP.
DBAP. Sponsored by DBAP. Anyways, so great episode. Speaking of episodes, next week, the 20th, so this comes out on the 13th, on the 20th, I want you to pay attention to that show. We are dropping my MTE must-dos. So to find out what I recommend you go do at MTE, make sure you catch next week's episode. That's going to be awesome. I would say send in what you're going to do, but we'll probably have it already recorded by then. And then you'd be like, man, they didn't even put my stuff in there. So we're just not going to cross that bridge, Dylan.
No, please don't make me cross that bridge.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Speaking of MTE, January 29th is 101 day. If you are just getting into the business, thinking about getting into the business, anything along those lines, come see us at that. I'm sure information is available at mte.live. On Thursday in the morning, I've got my unfolding large damage with glue pull repair class. That is going to be great. I've not taught that anywhere else. And in the afternoon, we have the shop owners roundtable. Just yesterday, in real time, we had our big group meeting to get set up for that. We are bringing some new stuff to the table that wasn't talked about last year that I am super excited to share with you. And of course, we have Dave Detlaff joining us, and myself and Matt Moore and Christopher Ray and Corey Kleinfeld. It's going to be a great show. I'm sure that is going to be standing room only. Also, we also just released on our website 2 new courses, Intro to PDR through GPR. Is PDR being taught incorrectly everywhere in the world? I think so, except for here. It's a whole new approach to getting started in learning PDR. So you can find that under the Learn tab on our website if you are on a desktop, or it's just in the menu if you're on a mobile device. So check that out. And I also, out of the archives, I've not shared this since 2021, brought back, and for the only place available online anywhere that I know of, I've my protractor close. It's the close I use to drive more leads through the shop, to make my wholesale techs' lives easier, and to put more money in everybody's pocket. And that class is only $27, and Dylan edited it down really short. It's like under 12 minutes, right?
It is 11 minutes.
11 minutes. So in 11 minutes for $27, you can learn how to close more jobs right away, instant. I mean, it's like, even when we got done recording, Dylan was like, wow, I get it. That makes so much sense. So go find out the protractor close, also available on autoappearanceinstitute.com underneath the Learn tab, or just in the menu if you're on a mobile device. That felt like a commercial.
I know. You sold that pretty well, though. It was like almost Billy Mays.
Almost.
Like, you're getting
But
there.
wait, there's more. You can come see me at MTE. Say hi. I don't charge extra for that.
No.
No. It's included.
And, well, I guess by the time this episode airs, we're not going to have the webinar. So
Nope.
make sure you sign up for the make sure you sign up for the list so you can be in the know when our next webinar is happening.
Exactly. Yes. And I'm sure that was a huge success. But you'll have to wait a couple episodes to find out for sure. Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be great. I actually went out and bought a vehicle for teaching and doing webinars and classes on, so we can get super aggressive and be gentle. It's not a rental. We own it, right? We can just beat it up.
Mia the Kia.
Yes. Mia the Kia.
Mia the Kia. That's her name.
There we go. So the car has been named Mia the Kia by Dylan. Well, she has Greta the Jetta. So.
Yeah, and I used to have Tink, but that's a story for another day.
Yes, I like it. Good deal. And new this week.
ASMR.
ASMR. I just got these in the mail yesterday. I have not even turned a glue gun on today, but the brand new Kiko dead center gear tab. I guess it's still dead center. If it's not dead center, it's definitely the new gear tabs. Let's see if it.
I think it says dead center on the front.
Tabs, gear variety. Oh, it is dead center. So we are dead center gear tabs. I'm excited to use these. Thinking to the anatomy of a tab, it makes a lot of sense. So they have thinned the face way out. I mean, that face is like, it's thin. Maybe thinner or along the lines of like the dead center super tabs thin, but they upped the shaft size. So in watching some of Danny's videos, which is why I had to buy these things, thanks Danny, because they're always coming out with cool tools. It's more of like a starting tab, more of an intermediate tab, where it's something that you would start the dent with that slightly larger shaft to bring the bulk up and then switch to your finishing tabs. You know, an actual true dead center or a dent reaper tab, and go after the finish with that. I'm excited to give these a go. And also, we had our new tools a couple episodes ago. We had the intermediate Kiko tabs. So keep an eye out. Full reviews coming for the dead center gear tabs, the intermediate tabs, and the stick light from Stucky. We decided it's like Sally sells seashells down by the seashore.
Yes.
Stucky sells stick lights at StuckyTools.com or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's cute. Yeah.
It's basically what I do to warm up for the podcast is I just say
Stucky
that.
sells stick lights on StuckyTools.com.
Yes,
Stucky
you got
sells
it.
stick
See?
lights on StuckyTools.com.
It's perfect. How fast can you say it and get it going?
Yeah. Can you say that 3 times fast?
Maybe not. Probably not.
Don't.
Good deal. So, guys, that is everything we have going on. Of course, go leave us a review. If you're enjoying the show, head to wherever you listen to your podcasts at. Please leave us a review. That helps the algorithms get the show out there. Go check out the courses. If there's something you want to learn that we have, go get it. If you have an idea for a course, let us know. We are in full production mode this year. We've got a bunch on the schedule already with more to come. So what do you want to learn about? Let me know. send us a message. We'll make the class. I will see you at MTE in just a couple of weeks. Don't forget about that MTE episode coming up next week. You don't want to miss it. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next show.
Bye.